Hi, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Giants Rundown for Saturday, February 19th, here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm Andrew Baggerly, and today was the first full squad workout for the Giants, and the weather was really iffy, but it was their luck that it held off just long enough before the real drop started coming down. They were able to get almost all their work in. They did push ahead their workouts schedule a little bit. They skipped some of the conditioning early on, or truncated it anyway, so that they could get all of their rounds of live batting practice, etc., in before the weather started moving in, because it's raining pretty hard out there right now. But one thing that they certainly didn't skip was the first full squad meeting, and it lasted almost a half an hour before the players took the field. And Bruce Bochy pretty much challenged the team and said, hey, look, you guys deserve every accolade and everything that you got last year. You'll always have that time to reflect on, and you should. But the real challenge starts now, and it starts all over. And you got to win for the guy next to you as much as for yourself. And really inspired the team. Cody Ross said it was one of the best speeches he'd ever heard. Tim Lincecum said that Bochy's getting better and better all the time at making these speeches. So I think it struck the right chord. And we talked to Bochy about it, and obviously he wasn't going to tell us word for word what he said, but did say he thought long and hard about what he wanted to communicate, whether he'd just be driving in the car over the last couple months or in a fishing boat or wherever. And he really wanted to jot down things from time to time that he wanted to get across to the players. So all in all, a positive meeting, and they came out pretty pumped up. And when they did start live batting practice, that's always a lot of fun, and there's smiles all around. When pitchers are facing hitters, you'd imagine it's as fun as it can be facing Tim Lincecum when you're on his team, and you never get that chance. So the first guy to jump in the cage was Pat Burrell, and it was kind of fitting because Burrell was always the first guy to tackle Brian Wilson after all those clinching victories. So he went first, and he swung the bat on Lincecum's first pitch, and actually was a little late, but hit a single to right field. And I couldn't make out exactly what he said, but I know I heard the words World Series. So I'm sure that he realizes he was 0 for 13 or 15 with 13 strikeouts in the World Series, and it must have been nice to hear bat on ball again, because obviously we didn't hear that sound very much in late October. But Burrell swung at the first pitch. It's something you hardly ever see. Normally guys track pitches for a while, and Lincecum was like, hey, what's up with that? But Mark DeRosa was making fun of Burrell because he said that, I'll go first, guys. I'll take the bullet. But DeRosa said he wasn't fooling anyone because everyone knows the first few pitches are always fastballs. So DeRosa said that Burrell got his licks at a couple fastballs, and then the rest of them got to deal with Timmy's changeup and slider and everything else, which was working really well. Lincecum looked great, looked very sharp. One of the hitters who probably made the best impression was Pablo Sandoval. The first swing he took, he was facing Felix Romero, a minor leaguer. He hit a long home run onto the porch in right field. Now, this was him batting left-handed. And then later on, he hit another one to straightaway center field. And keep in mind, this is not just coach batting practice. This is pitchers trying to execute pitches and throwing at full speed, or at least as close as they can reasonably approximate this early in camp. So Pablo looks good. He's got a lot more rotation through his swing. His hips look a lot looser, and I've got a feature story about exactly what he did over the winter, getting really in-depth into his exercises and the ways that it's going to help him this season, or at least everyone feels it's going to help him. So look for that later on when it's posted. Let's see. One other note about the speech this morning. The Showtime cameras were not allowed in, or so Cody Ross tells me. Bruce Bochy wanted to keep it in-house. So this all-access Showtime series, they're going to go places that the beat reporters sometimes aren't allowed to go. But the opening speech, which is something you always see in the Hard Knocks type series, apparently they weren't allowed in to film that. So the Giants are going to have their limits on the access that these guys are going to get this year, which I thought was kind of interesting. Brian Wilson was not on the field for this first workout. He's still coming along slowly with his back. He's feeling a lot better. Bruce Bochy said that there's just simply no need to rush it, especially on a wet field. He did play catch for 10 minutes, and apparently he's doing fine. So again, probably not much to worry about at this stage of the spring, but until he's back on the field doing full workouts, you can bet we'll all keep an eye on him and let you know how he's doing. One guy who looked a little bit different was Aaron Rowand. I wrote the other day that he said he's going to be a little less squatty in his swing, and looking at his back leg, it's definitely not quite as bowed out. It looks like he's a little freer to get to pitches now and hit some pretty hard line drives during his batting practice session. So he'll be a guy to watch. It remains to be seen whether he's going to play the corner outfield positions. He's been pretty much strictly a center fielder for the last 5 or 6 years, but I'd imagine that he'll get some work all around the outfield. That's my guess. And one other guy who looked pretty good was Andres Torres. He took some good swings from both the left and right side of the plate, and of course he's out there shaking hands and saying hello to everybody. He's his usual jovial self. One odd scene in the clubhouse, I don't know if you saw this, I linked to it the other day, but Matt Latos of the San Diego Padres signed 3 baseballs with I Hate SF on them, and they're going to be auctioned off to charities. So probably just him having a sense of humor about what happened last year and the comments he made about them being a bunch of mercenaries, etc. News got into the Giants clubhouse. There was a printout of it sitting on one of the tables, so I'm guessing the guys had a good laugh about that. One other minor league guy to note is Ryan Verdugo. He's been throwing really hard, and Bruce Bochy said today that he's going to be stretched out to start. And he's a guy who's averaged almost 12 strikeouts per 9 innings in the minor leagues. He went to LSU, has been used as a reliever, a lefty, and really a live-armed guy. He's got good stuff, some deception in his delivery, and the Giants are going to see if his arm can handle the being stretched out a little bit. And it's obvious they don't have a lot of starting candidates in the minor leagues and the upper minors, so the more inventory they can get, the better. So again, it's raining here now. We'll see what the weather is like tomorrow. I'm sure they're hoping that they can get all of their work in and complete their entire schedule. But for now, it'll be Matt Cain and Madison Bumgarner will be the guys throwing batting practice tomorrow, so that should be fun to watch. So for now, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.